Hey everybody, welcome to another Bachelor Nation Weekly. Tonight we have some very juicy gossip for you. All the dirt on Derek and Taylor and Corinne. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We are the Bachelor Nation Weekly, your number one source for all things Bachelor Nation. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm over here. There's if you can watch us on Facebook, YouTube right now, Renee and Sterling are in the house doing the robot, doing a little dance for you guys.
You just invited us to a party, so we were
yeah. You guys, I'm your host, Christina Zias. You can find me across social media at Miss Zias and MissZias.com. Sterling, where can everyone keep up with you on the weekend?
Hey guys, I'm Sterling Cates, and you can find me everywhere at Sterling Cates.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
And we're missing Christine tonight, but I believe she is out of town. She's catching a flight to New York, no big deal. Yeah. She'll be back with us next week. So you guys, on this podcast, we talk about everything going on in Bachelor Nation, and there's a little scoop going on this week. We saw on Instagram that Derek and Taylor, who you guys know got engaged on this season of Bachelor in Paradise, are moving to New York together.
I know.
No big deal. Making a big step.
I know. I mean, long distance only works for so long.
Right.
I mean, some people can make it last for years, but considering that couple only really got to know each other on the show for a few weeks, I think it's great that they get to spend a lot more time together, and I think it will really test their relationship.
I think it'll be their first big can we actually make this work? As opposed to, where did he live before Iowa? She lived
in Oregon?
Seattle?
Somewhere
Pacific Northwest.
Not there.
Not with him.
But anyway, so it's their first time. Living with someone is completely different than just calling them every night before you go to sleep. So
totally.
I think it'll be interesting to see where this takes them, and they might, whether it's to marriage next week or potential breakup or whatever. But they seem pretty happy on social media. So
it's interesting too, because they obviously don't live together now, but now they're moving to New York City. And I don't know if you guys know anything about New York real estate, but you do not have a lot of room. So you'll...
Yeah.
I think that for me would be the toughest part, is navigating around a kitchen or a New York City apartment with someone, because when you're with each other all the time, it's so easy to get on each other's nerves, and they're going to have to learn real quick.
Not only are they going to be living in the same space, but they're going to be literally on top of each other.
On top of each other.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just very excited to see what happens, because honestly, when you test the relationship in that way, that's a huge step.
Yeah.
And what do you do if it doesn't work out? Because now they both are leaving their states, their cities, and moving across, not completely across the country, but a significant distance away. So I'm very curious to see how it works out. I wish them the best, obviously.
Right, of course. I kind of had a similar situation, because my boyfriend and I, now husband, moved from New York together. We were living separately, and we moved to LA, and we lived together. And it was difficult, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was amazing at the same time, because you move to a new city and you have someone with you, your best friend, your closest partner to conquer and do everything with. But at the same time, it's little things it's easy to pick up on or get mad at each other for when you're in such close quarters all the time.
Well, look at you now, married.
But now we're married.
Freshly back from Hawaii, just living your best life. So maybe Taylor and Derek are headed down that
I hope
path.
so. We saw that they had that awkward surprise. Did you guys see that? So
awkward.
I guess Taylor, and they put this video on Instagram, so you guys can go check it out. Taylor surprised Derek in Iowa. However, Derek does not look thrilled.
Okay, and he either knew she was coming and had to be a terrible actor and pretend that he was surprised, or he was legit mad that she was there. I didn't even know that it was
so confused.
When you were showing me the video, I was like, wait, is that a stranger or is that him? I was just very confused.
Oh, here's the video, you guys, if you're watching.
The pizza roast thing is so awkward and forced to me.
But look at him just standing there. It's
my favorite game to play, though, is imagine if she's just a crazy ex showing up in Iowa and then watch the video.
But why hasn't he moved?
He's
is he so shocked?
I just love he's how'd you get here? She's not answering the question.
Have you guys ever pulled a surprise on someone like this?
Not like this. I pulled surprises.
Yeah, I
but-
feel like they were surprised when I did it. I don't know. Maybe he's in shock. It's
Like
hard to
Sterling is very skeptical.
I
She's
know.
calling
I
BS.
kind of just wish like they had filmed it from so you could see his face.
Yeah.
Because I can't really
Right?
tell from his backside
Yeah, I
how
guess that's
shocked
true.
he is.
I mean, I completely
Thank you for pulling that up,
agree.
Jeff.
If anyone that like has ever, I don't know, done a prank before, you'd wonder, who's the important person to capture in this moment? Taylor or Derek? And they're like, Taylor.
Derek's butt. That's like exactly what
Oh,
we can
that's
see.
important.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I think it's still nice that she made the effort
Yeah.
to do it, and now they're moving across the country, so we wish them the best.
Yeah. Any surprise that includes pizza is a good surprise.
For sure.
So she nailed
Absolutely.
In other Bachelor news, so Corinne Olympios is never one to keep it safe, never one to keep it boring. I feel like anytime, I love watching her, honestly, because I think she was for sure the most entertaining part of Nick's season.
it. Yeah.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
And obviously, there was all the drama with Bachelor in Paradise. And so this past week, she was on the I Don't Get It podcast, and we had Ashley in last week talking a little bit about it. So, Renee, you have some scoop on that. Tell us about Corinne.
I do. Okay, so they kind of did, you may know, so Ashley I, who came in last week, and then we have Naz Perez, who used to be a producer on The Bachelor. She now is a host. She hosts at Clever and for the Dodgers. She's wonderful. But she has a podcast with Ashley.
And their sister, and Lauren.
And Lauren. And they had Corinne on for like a Corinne Tells All, and we got the whole scoop of what kind of Corinne's been up to. For starters, she has a brand new man in her life. Apparently, it's like super new, but she's already calling him her man. And Corinne has like a lot of business opportunities coming up. She apparently has like a meeting with Playboy, which I'm like,
Interesting.
I know. What do you guys think of that?
I think it's
Well-
to be a host for Playboy.
Oh, is it to be a host?
I mean, I
Or-
haven't. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very general to have a meeting with Playboy.
It's true,
Right.
but it's still a big deal. Like
Right.
having a
Yeah,
meeting
for
with Playboy
sure.
is huge.
Good for her.
And on top of that, she has a clothing line coming out that's supposed to be a little more edgy, less just like with like classic Corinneisms. And then on top of that, I know, like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I can't get enough of Corinne, and I want to hear all about her life. And she has a podcast coming out, so it's looking like we're able to do that because everyone in Bachelor Nation
podcast.
is releasing a podcast.
Yes.
But Corinne's
Good for
actually
her.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Of all the people in Bachelor Nation, if I were to pick one that should have a podcast, Corinne.
I thought for sure she was going to have her own TV show. Is that still something that's happening?
I hope so. And I actually wish that she had her own TV show instead of a podcast, or maybe in addition
Right.
to, but I feel like she is one person that can really carry it.
Yeah.
But you can always, I mean, it's very possible she's doing both because you know how, like, for TV shows or for reality shows, they want you to, like, have something interesting going on. So hers could be,
Right.
like
that's her job or
an
whatever.
Yeah,
happily
yeah.
happily ever after with Ben and Lauren. Lauren's like, I want to start a blog. This is like Corinne's like, I'm gonna do a podcast. Like that's her
Probably.
moment.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about it. But
So what's the deal with this boyfriend?
so we don't know too much about it because it's very new. But what she does really dish on is like awkward hookups, like weird things that have happened in her life, like getting her butthole kissed. You guys are gonna have to listen to the podcast. It's a little too rated R to talk about here, but she like when I say she tells all, like she tells all, and we get to hear about some of her past relationships. She just dishes all the dirt, and it's always funny when Corinne just talks about really anything.
Well, what I want to know is if she dish more dirt on like what exactly happened in Paradise, because when we had Demario on, he was like, "Okay, I still don't know. Like 30% of
full
the story
story.
is missing," and I feel like she would be the one to reveal it.
I don't think she knows because she's
You're
done so many
probably-
things about saying that she was blackout and doesn't remember anything. So I don't know if she would even have those details.
She does not go into details about, I don't think, the incident, but she does mention Demario.
What does she say about Demario? Do you know?
I think it was something that had to do with the reason why her ex-boyfriend and her like had a fight or broke up. It's like he had like this argument of like, well, you did this with Demario. Like he played the Demario card, and she mentioned that. But I'm not 100% sure. I did not make it to that part.
Right.
So you guys will have to listen and let us know in the comments below what you guys think of the podcast.
I think, well, just in general, I think her boyfriend kind of seems like a jerk, or her ex-boyfriend.
absolutely, yeah.
First of all. And anyways, it was an interesting relationship to begin with because they were obviously together before she went on Paradise.
Right.
So he was like, sure, here's my blessing to like go hook up with other guys.
And then hold
like,
it over her head.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. That's stupid. And then even to be like, jealous about something that happened that was investigated for sexual misconduct. He's like, oh, you did that, but you won't do this with me. Like, that is just
too much.
Yeah. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
So I just want to get into this just a little bit because Mike Fleiss has been on a roll, tweeting all sorts of crazy things since Paradise, really, right? And also just teasing the Winter Games and all this stuff. And he was very vocal this past week when all the Harvey Weinstein stuff was going on. And he pretty much said, I'm trying to find it exactly what he said, that Harvey Weinstein should be arrested, he should go to jail, and he should share a cell with Bernie Madoff. And he was calling him, saying terrible things about him, like most of Hollywood and the world.
Yeah.
However, I think it's interesting because there's this whole sexual abuse scandal going on this summer with Paradise, and obviously he wouldn't be okay with something like that. He seems very vocal about it.
Right. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, like most people in Hollywood and in the industry, you kind of have to use your platform to speak about something as serious, especially with someone who is as big as Harvey Weinstein is. So I appreciate that he's speaking out against it, because if you're not, you're just complicit with the whole thing anyway. And especially as like a powerful male in the industry, it is nice to hear someone in that position who does have so much control, especially over such a huge franchise, speaking out against it. And it kind of makes it, I would hope, more comfortable for contestants on the show, maybe, if they wanted to come forward about something or whatever. And they did do the whole segment on Bachelor in Paradise where they went into consent and all of that stuff. So I don't know if that was just like their legal team was advising that, or if they really did want to just educate everyone on consent and that sort of stuff. But
yeah, I will say, the one good thing that's come out of the Harvey Weinstein situation is it has brought to light, the magnitude of the problem, with the hashtag #MeToo kind of trend going on right now on social media. That way people know, because I feel like when it's such oh, what? It's a freak thing, but it's not. And because so many people don't come forward and don't talk about it, that's why it's such a weird gray area for people, which is why I think the Paradise thing was such a gray area, because consent is something that we need to talk more about, and we need to be aware of what sexual assault is and what's right, pretty much what's right, what's wrong, and situations that kind of can be more in the gray area. It's not always just black and white. But I love that everyone's talking about it, and I love that he spoke out about that, because I definitely think if he's speaking out about that, then he would be vocal if something truly wrong has happened on Paradise.
Right, absolutely. And he said Harvey Weinstein is a scumbag and a criminal, lock him up. So very vocal, very matter of fact. Sorry, Harvey.
I'll probably go RT that.
Yeah. I know, totally. So with that said, another piece of Bachelor, I forget where I was supposed to go with that. This is where I wanted to go. Have you guys seen Unreal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Huge fan.
But you know how there's the whole scandal with Unreal, and I was watching that where the executive producer is sleeping with and pretty much making the interns blow him and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah, on Unreal. Girl, watch it back.
Wait, you mean the producer in the show?
In the show.
Oh my gosh, I thought you meant behind. I'm why have I not heard
no,
of
this
this
is the
in
storyline.
Yes.
However, it's a former Bachelor producer.
Right.
And apparently the show is based off real situations.
It makes you wonder who it's based off of, for sure.
Well,
but, I mean,
isn't it the creator of the show?
Isn't that Mike Fleiss? Yeah. Anyway,
we don't want
it
to
is fiction.
say,
You know what I mean? But I just think that's interesting. So I hung out with someone this weekend who's a producer, and he is good friends with the two of the producers on the show who made the call about Corinne and DeMario.
Oh, really?
And he said that neither of them have worked since. They can't find any jobs in Hollywood. And
It's kind of sad.
it's really sad.
That's really sad. Especially if they thought that they were just doing the right thing. Yeah.
And that's what his thing. He said that he doesn't know exactly what happened. That he is supposed to hang out with them this week, but that from what he knows about them, they were definitely just trying to do the right thing. You know.
I mean, if she really was blacked out and it is a gray area, didn't they do the right thing of reporting the incident as opposed to reporting? Because they reported it as sexual misconduct, not. I don't know what they even would report it on. They didn't report it about DeMario. They reported it about the incident.
Right.
They reported about the incident and about her not being in the right, sober enough to make a decision about
is what happened.
Which is true.
Which is true.
They did the right thing, I would hope. Unless, I mean, there could always be more to the story that we don't know if they had ill intentions.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at it as like the facts that we have in front of us, it is one of those stories that is such a gray area because DeMario did not know that she was blacked out from this medication, because you can very well be blacked out and act like you're fine.
Normal,
like people aren't just like, woo, like it depends on the person. So if these producers or producer truly thought something was wrong, everyone kind of did the right thing. It just blew up because it's such a weird thing to talk about when it's not like a straightforward, like there was an actual assault involved. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Well, I just wish them the best of luck because it sucks that you're just trying to do the right thing and then you get blacklisted for it.
Right. And you would hope that, God forbid something were to happen, that no one would be afraid to come forward,
right?
Because they might get blacklisted from working.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I mean, it's the exact same thing with like the Harvey and like.
And that's why a lot of his victims and accusers didn't come forward, is because they thought they would be blacklisted. Right. And this is just an example.
It's like
of
proving
that.
them right in a way, for sure.
Oh, there I am. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
I have a quick question for you. Sorry,
Yes.
this is your producer in the booth, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Was this context taken after or before the Harvey Weinstein stuff? Because you do kind of wonder if all that's come to light about sexual assault will change the attitude of these potential, like these producers as being more hireable because they did do something.
Oh, interesting. Well, obviously this all happened before all of the Harvey Weinstein stuff came out. So I would assume, that this had nothing to do with them not being hired. If anything,
of course it did.
I mean, I hope, and I'm like, there's one good thing that comes from all of this Harvey Weinstein stuff is that women are feeling more comfortable coming forward with their stories. And I was talking to Christina earlier about, it's not just people sharing their stories about things that Harvey did, but it's like, I've had this experience too, and I work in the restaurant industry, and I've had this experience too, and I work in retail. It's like across the board, women are speaking, not just women, men are speaking too. And so it's starting this conversation, and it's shining light on a very dark area, and I think it's really important to be having these conversations. And even that we're talking on it here, I think is really important. And that Mike Fleiss is tweeting about it is really important. So I hope that these producers, moving forward, if it were to change the industry, at least shake it up, that they will be hireable, because it's like, they have integrity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's all about how the story is portrayed, and if you think about it, the way that ABC did it is kind of making it look like it was like if anything, a producer error, I think. Like, I know that they did bring it to the light where it was a gray thing, but it was just such a gray area, and I don't think they made that clear enough. I think they told the story too many times, and we know a lot about it, but just the way it was portrayed, like on ABC in the Bachelor specials, it isn't a gray enough area. It didn't become a gray enough area for, I think, the two producers to be like okay with, or what's happening with them with not being able to get hired, because they still look, and I hate to say it because I truly don't think they had like bad intentions, but they look like they were in error.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us to clarify in this conversation that we're not comparing the Harvey Weinstein thing to what happened in Paradise, because obviously that is not what we're intending to do. It's just kind of like along the same topic lines, and that's what we were talking about over the summer. But like, no foul play was found there through investigation. I think that's just like important to clear up, that we weren't like
Definitely.
trying to like
Thank
say
you.
they were the same thing.
No,
or
they're
anything.
not, for sure.
No.
Okay, another form of foul play. So, guys, it's a little tough. Like, there's not that much going on in Bachelor Nation, right? Like, we follow along. Like, we try to provide you guys with really good information to help you guys keep up to date on everything that's going on. So, one thing that was announced was there was a little interview with Jared Haven, who was on Caitlin's season, and he's been in studio. He's a great friend to us here at AfterBuzz. Super nice. So, he did this interview with Us Weekly. And it was definitely an advertisement for Hinge.
Absolutely. He said Hinge every other word.
Every other word.
Yeah.
But it's okay. So he talks about his online dating experience with Hinge, which hopefully we are going to get as a sponsor now after this as well.
Seriously.
But and he talks about his worst date, and I just think it's interesting because I think men and women, or just everyone, has a different experience. I was like, I don't know if that'd be my worst date ever. But pretty much he says that he's been working in the restaurant industry his whole life. And the reason it was the worst date is because the woman interrupted the server as soon as she came, saying like, I want a pomegranate martini, before the server even asked, right?
Right. And he also said that she may or may not have already been drunk, like when she showed up to the date, which I think might have been the first red flag.
I think
but
definitely.
when she like rudely interrupted the server or whatever happened, that was like end game for him. And then he was like, and that was it. I was just like, wow.
Okay, Jared.
Well, it's nice.
Definitely not worst date, in my opinion. I will say if she rudely interrupted, that's one thing. But if the girl just knew what she wanted for a drink and just said it before the waitress asked, like, girl, I'm good. Know what you want. I know what I want when I go out. But yeah, if she rudely interrupted. I hate when my date or anyone I'm with is rude to the server.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's
Or
what he
to
was
anyone.
saying.
Yeah.
That is-
absolutely.
yeah, be polite, but especially like when the way people treat waitstaff, because I'm sorry, there's even a difference, I think, with a lot of people, the way they treat like just people on the street, like opening doors, but then sometimes you take them to a restaurant and you see the way they interact just to like a server and you're like, what is wrong with you?
Totally.
That's such a good point.
Well, I think it's interesting because everyone has their own unique dating experiences, and obviously the internet and all these dating apps have really changed the dating game, but it must be incredibly challenging for people who are on The Bachelor to then come back into the real world and not have fantasy dates where they're like in helicopters or hot air balloons or like going to the Bahamas for the day. Like, how do you go from flying in a helicopter like over the Grand Canyon to, I don't know, like looking for people
Going to
on a social media app, you know?
Yeah, well, first of all,
And Chile.
I can't relate to that on any level. But,
Why, do you not take helicopter rides on all your days?
Shocking.
What?
Shocking.
You
I
need
know.
to step your game up,
But
Sterling.
something that Jared said in that interview that I thought was funny was like they asked him what the difference was between like dating online now versus like dating on the show, and he was like, well, dating online, there aren't all these other guys trying to date the same girl. And I was just like, well, they are. They're just like virtual. Like you can't see them.
And there's probably way
like,
more.
Her inbox is full. Like,
Yeah.
trust me. Like, you are not the only one competing for her heart. That is for sure.
Agreed. Yeah, you just don't know about it. That's the fun with like real dating and like Bachelor dating. On The Bachelor, you're aware of all the other contestants. You know your
Yeah.
competition. In the real world, you don't know your competition.
Do you feel like a lot of people who are on these apps are dating multiple people?
Depending on
so.
the app. I think that there's like different people on different apps. Hinge, probably some. Tinder, 100%. Bumble, abso-freaking-lutely.
Wait, are you guys on all these apps too?
No, I was on Bumble.
I was
And?
on Bumble and I deleted it because first of all, I'd like never met anyone in real life because usually like, first of all, I'm just like terrible at that sort of thing. Like, hey, like, should we meet and then you maybe kill me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know anything about you. Or it's like when you start like messaging someone and then it goes nowhere and then you're like, well, that was a waste of my life. So I'm just gonna meet someone in person, I think.
You gotta cut straight to the point. I did actually a test on my blog, sextinginthecity.com, where I went on 7 dates in 7 days, and a lot of my dates came from Bumble.
Okay.
And the trick is, if you're a girl, if you're a guy, I think you're gonna kill me. But if you're a girl and you straight up say, wanna get a drink, nine times out of 10, they immediately were like, yes. That's how I got all my dates. I went on like one really good date when I was on Bumble, but then he got back together with his bikini model ex-girlfriend.
God, it always happens.
I know.
So so you always just say want to go on a date and then they're either like yes or no. Did anyone say no?
No. It's either want to get a drink and then they'll be like, ooh, forward, and they try flirting and then talking, and then I get bored because I'm like, I have a blog to write.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
I need someone
you
who's
to say
available.
yes or no.
Exactly. But I'm telling you, want to get a drink never fails. If you're a girl and you ask that, I'm telling you that is the quickest way to get a date. And if you're worried about background checks,
Yeah.
I'm telling you small talk is not going to help. What you need to do is find their social media platforms. Take that info that's in their Bumble profile and find them and find out if they're real. Have them send you, I've had guys send me Snapchats to make sure they're a real
Because you're worried
person.
about them not being real people?
Catfishing, you never know.
So how do you do that before you ask them if you want to go on a date?
Oh, I say want to get a drink, and if it's getting to
And
the
then
point,
you stalk them?
and then I'll either stalk them or
Yeah, why
I'll-
waste time before?
Absolutely. And they have a verified thing now on Bumble where you can see if they've like taken a selfie to prove that they are who they say they are. But on
Oh,
top of that,
wow.
guys, use Snapchat, because Snapchat is one of those apps where you can no longer like have like a third party app. So you can, if you know that photo is sent to you, it was taken by them. Find out if they're real and meet in a public place, because you
Good job, Renee.
I don't know why I
Safety
didn't
first.
ask you this stuff sooner. I'm learning so much.
This is so-
I'm like, I need a notepad.
Yeah, this is so interesting. I've never used any dating apps, but I will say, so when my husband and I met, it was in person, and we dated for a little bit, and then he was like, I want to take you somewhere. He's like, let's go to California. And I was like,
What?
dude, it's been like a month. Like, who are you?
It was a month in?
It was a month in.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, actually, like, I'm going to Europe with my sister. I was like, I'm going on vacation. I just graduated college. And he's like, okay. He's like, let's meet in Italy. And I was like,
What?
Okay. So he was like kind of a stranger. I swear, this like really happened.
What?
Excuse me, what?
Okay.
If he said that to me, I'd be like, no.
Well, but I'm like making it sound really short. Like we had a great relationship up until this point. And then I was gone in Greece for a month. And he was like really cute and like learned how to use Skype. And like we would like talk through webcam like almost every day while I was in Greece. So then we met in Italy. But there was a second where I was like, wait a minute. I have no idea who this person is. Like, I'm going to Italy to meet him, but like he is kind of still a stranger. And then that's where I went through like, oh my gosh, like, and I started just texting everyone I knew, like my location, where I'd be, and anything I knew about him. And obviously ended up working out fine. But like we met
Clearly.
in person, and I was still a little nervous about it. So I can't imagine meeting virtual strangers like on the internet and like not even knowing who their real identity is.
And then bringing it back to Bachelor, though, is like if you're on these things, obviously, whether you're a guy or a girl, they probably have seen you on TV. You don't know like what their intentions are. Like seeing us, it's like, oh, there's another person. And then seeing like someone like Jared, they're probably like, oh my God, I watch you every Monday.
Ashley talked about that last week. And I don't know if you guys listened to our podcast from last week, but if you haven't, you should, because Ashley hit on this, and she was pretty much telling us this story about how she went out with this guy, and he like brought up The Bachelor and was like, oh,
And how much he hated it or whatever.
How much he hated it, and how there's this girl that was a virgin on it, and he didn't believe it. And I'm like, he was definitely trolling you. He knew who you were.
Yeah.
And she was like, you think so? I'm like, yes. Absolutely, he was trolling you.
God,
Yeah.
what a jerk.
I know.
And then he took her to Taco Bell.
I know.
That's where their date was?
And then they went to a bar, and then he got hungry, and then he bashed on her, and then
He took her to Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. I was like, wow, this is just...
I know.
These are all red flags, you guys.
Red flags.
Don't accept a first date at Taco Bell.
So this is our Bachelor Nation Weekly podcast, and then we'll start our dating podcast soon. So we'll let you guys know about that. Okay, let's get into our favorite part of the evening, our game. Sterling.
Wow.
All the pressure.
No, right.
So you guys,
Excited.
we have, if you're just tuning into the podcast for the first time, at the end of each episode, we play a little game to see how well we know the Bachelor contestants, and if we have guests, how well they know their castmates.
So I have picked guys from JoJo's season.
Okay.
And
Feeling good about this already.
too.
I've never
I'm
played
trying-
this game.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Okay, so are you going to keep score, Renee?
I'll keep score, and make sure you write down your answer so you don't change it when you say it out loud, because we're going to say it at different times.
Oh my gosh, are you so scared I'm going to cheat?
Yeah, we're really nervous about if you're going to cheat or not.
This
Oh my
is serious.
I am kind of a cheater, like in Uno and stuff like that. Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Who said their greatest achievement to date? Oh, this was like a weirdly worded one. Who said their greatest achievement to date was being born good looking? Daniel, Vinny, I wrote Alex the Marine, or Chad.
I'm going to say Daniel.
I'm going to say Daniel too.
Wrong.
Is it Chad?
It was Chad.
Okay.
Okay, so we both suck.
Okay.
Daniel would say that too.
Yeah,
Right?
that's why I thought that would be a tricky question.
That was, you did a good job.
You're a really good teacher. Okay. Who said he doesn't have a tattoo for the same reason you don't put stickers on a Lambo? A, Jordan Rogers, who we know one, Evan, Chad, or Daniel?
Daniel.
I'm going to say Daniel.
That's correct.
I remember him actually saying that on
You do?
Paradise.
Really?
Yeah, he said that on.
He
He said that in
it
bio.
this
Okay, it's one of his
this-
lines clearly.
Yeah, it's probably like his Instagram bio too. Okay. Who said their deal breakers include girls with chipped nail polish, girls who talk too much, narcissists, clingers, girls who have serious food allergies? Chase,
I know this answer.
Derek, Grant, or Evan?
Oh, I don't know this answer. What?
Wait,
Chase, Derek, Grant, or Evan?
I'm going to say Chase.
Oh my God. I'm going to say Derek.
Wrong. It's Evan. It's like, Evan, you are picky.
Wow.
Carly must
Is
be pretty
he-
great.
Who is
Who
he for
can
real?
keep track of their nail polish all the time?
Okay,
Why
first
is that
of all,
a turn off?
My nail,
At first,
it turns me
what
off
is
on
it?
myself.
I know, right? I'm like, Sterling, you need to get your act together.
But a man? Who cares?
Yeah, the food allergies one, at first I was like, okay, you don't discriminate if someone has, like, can't eat oysters.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I have gone on dates with guys who, like, can't eat certain things, and I like to, like, share and, like, eat everything, essentially.
Yeah.
So it definitely is, like, can be a thing, especially if food's, like, a big deal for you.
Yeah, I get annoyed with my
Yeah.
husband sometimes because he's like brown rice, chicken, broccoli sort of guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm still ordering the chocolate cake. Bye.
More for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, anyway. Who said the wildest thing that they've ever done in the bedroom was trying to hang a TV on the wall without directions or a stud finder?
I think this is gonna be well.
A, Luke
No.
Pell. B, James Taylor. C, Evan. Or D, Jordan.
I'm gonna say James Taylor.
I'm going to say Jordan.
It was Jordan.
Oh, dang!
Okay, this is the last question.
Okay.
Wait, what's the score?
It's 2-1. We both suck.
Whose answer to his plans for having kids someday was yes, lots of exclamation points. Yes, and hopefully soon. 3, 4, 5, whatever my future wife and I are comfortable with. But coming from a large family, there's a chance we won't stop at 2. A, Luke. B, Robbie. C, Vinny. Or D, Jordan.
I think Robbie.
I think Vinny.
Robbie.
Dang it!
So good!
I'm so bad.
Congratulations, Renee, you have to take a shot next
I
week.
have to take 2 shots.
Yeah,
I
she
lost.
always loses. That's great.
Guys, I'm very excited about this.
Congratulations.
We hope you guys were playing along at home. If you were, leave us a note in the comments on YouTube and let us know how many you got right. I probably still beat you. Sorry about that. You guys, we will be back next week for another episode of Bachelor Nation Weekly. But until then, Sterling, where can they find you all week?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates.
And you guys can follow me at Renee Ariel on Instagram and on Twitter, and check out my blog, sextingandthecity.com.
And you guys can find me across social media and on my website, MissZS.com. See you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.